In this video, we're going to experiment with grep searches in context of forensic investigations. So what is grep? Grep is a Linux/Unix command line tool used to search for a pattern of characters. I prepared this handout right here. I have it already open in a separate window. And there are also documentation sections for FTK, including FTK Imager, as well as WinHex manual, which we can try using later today. There's also a nice interactive practice website, regex1.com, and a set of examples for us to try. It will work in Autopsy, in FTK, in WinHex, and I decided to try WinHex since it has a display of search results that highlights the matching text. We will use grep examples.txt to practice grep with WinHex. It is common to have cases that require extensive searches for a set of keywords. How you build a list of words usually is a list of terms relevant to the case. For example, names of organizations, subjects of investigations, people names, phone numbers, emails, chat handles, bank accounts, or pieces of known malware. The list of things can become quite long very quickly. At the same time, you don't have to enter all of the keywords manually. If you start using grep patterns, they can capture all emails, all phone numbers, all capitalized words and text, and essentially all things that have some sort of recognizable patterns. The actual search pattern is called a regular expression. For example, it may look like this. C.T, or it can look like this, ABC, or it can be text patterns like these. And these things can be combined into longer patterns, and so on and so on. You see my point. It's not to scare you, but to demonstrate that patterns are extremely cryptic features. If you have not seen them before, they look a little ugly and not very descriptive. Let's try a bit more meaningful example. A grep expression to search for American Express credit card numbers. An explanation here is that all American Express card numbers start with 34 or 37 and have 15 digits. So this expression could match credit card numbers like this and like this, but at the same time, these strings of digits that do not start with 34 or 37 will be skipped by the search and will not be included in your search results. And you may be thinking, who put these patterns together? How do they test it? How do they maintain it and keep it up with the mysterious syntax? So the answer is that grep patterns absolutely require a decent level of documentation. This credit card number pattern probably needs a bit of time to develop and test. And if it's working well, it needs to be documented in detail, explaining its parts and all the pieces, providing examples of what it can and cannot do. Once it's working well, you can reuse it over and over again, treating it like an all-around instrument, just this piece right here, that takes some input and consistently generates a set of desired matches. So one good thing about well-defined patterns that you don't have to memorize them. Simply keep them in your work notes, and when you need them, you just copy and paste it in your search box. And here is another example. This one is for a phone number. And it's designed to match inputs like these. And another thing to remember is that you can Google things like grep for credit card numbers, and I'm sure you'll find pretty good online resources. For example, like this one. I can try it here in my browser. regularexpressions.info. So it gives you some pretty interesting set of examples that would match Visa and MasterCard, American Express, Diners Club, and other type of cards that are used around the world. And you can see that it's pretty well documented, and it gives you some tips on how to find these credit card numbers and documents and in other locations on the drive or in files. And this is the URL that I copied and pasted to access this web page.